And you're still looking at yourself.
Where are you looking?
Right here in the camera. So I'm making eye contact with the audience. You're looking at yourself.
But when I look at the camera, it doesn't look like I'm looking at the camera. You're right in front of it, so I think it's a little easier.
I'm not right in front of it.
I'll try. Hey guys, I'm Sarita.
I'm Nikki.
And we're your favorite sisters. Welcome to our YouTube channel.
Welcome back if you're returning.
We're so happy that you're here.
Today we'll be discussing a book, Let Me Hold You by Alexandria House, which is book 2 in the McLean family series.
It is narrated by Jacoby DM and Adenrele Ojo. It is 8 hours and 51 minutes.
They did a fantastic job with the whole series, but especially this one. The characters in each series is very distinct, but I feel like sometimes narrators kind of keep the same voice for each book, you know, but not with this one. Like, for example, Adenrele for Kim, who was like one of the softer females in this series, she softened her tone. Like, it felt like a completely different person, which is something I really enjoyed. And you know, Jacoby, he gonna Jacoby. He gonna do what he does.
Jacoby, most definitely Jacoby. But I felt like Adenrele as well.
Always.
She is a really good narrator, you guys. She has a huskiness to her voice, a tone that I really enjoy. It's soothing. It's when it needs to be, but it's calm when it needs to be. I really enjoy her voice. And I felt like as Kim, she was so perfect for Kim. She brought a very calming to Kim, because I felt like Kim was a really calm heroine for Miss House. I think we should start with Kim. Why not?
Okay.
How did you feel about Kim Hampton?
So I don't want to say I didn't like him, but I will say I like him better in other people's stories. In this one, she just kind of disappointed me a lot. Like, and maybe that's my own struggle, but I kind of wanted more for her. To be in a secret relationship, she wasn't doing a lot of secret stuff. And I don't know, it was just certain things that I couldn't get behind with Kim. And I didn't feel like there was an excuse for the way she moved in certain instances.
Okay, so I felt like I wanted more from Kim as far as a mother, but I felt like Mama's gotta have a life too.
Literally, in my head, when I think of Kim, if Mama had a life too was a character, it was Kim.
Like, Kim's gotta have a life too. And I felt like she would have never truly lived had she not met Leland. This
is true. I completely agree. He definitely forced her out of her self-induced box.
And I felt like sometimes that's what you need, right? You need someone to step in and be like, okay, but now we're gonna do some living here. And that's what it was for her. How did you like our cousin Sabrina?
I felt like she was solid. She was a solid best friend. Like, she played her role to the fullest. There could be no complaints with her. Like, rather it was braiding her hair, giving her some sound advice, or and then to even be like, okay, I was wrong. It's not what I thought. This is good for you. Like, she was solid.
I like Sabrina. I feel like we all have that ghetto friend that ain't got no problem with calling nobody out or anything. And then that's like a jack of all trades. Like, she's a singer, she's a braider. You know, she's got her husband, fiance that didn't ask her right, but she still want to mess around. Sabrina was funny. And I felt like Kim needed a little bit of like that.
They were the perfect balance. You know, when you have that crazy friend and they were the perfect balance to each other's stories.
So what about Armand Daniels?
Listen, anyone who knows me knows I love Armand. Even before Armand's story came out, he always had a soft spot in my heart. And maybe that's another of my back and forth with Kim.
Hang-ups on Kim?
It could be. Because I just...
So for those of you that don't know, Armand Daniels is Kim's only son.
Yes.
He's her only child.
Yes.
She had him when she was young, so she's still
Very
really
young.
bomb, you know? So you could mistake them for
siblings
versus mother and son.
And I think that's kind of what the issue was. Their dynamics got blurred a lot. That they were both put in positions that neither should have played. and I didn't like the domino effect of it all. But Armand will always have a soft spot in my heart.
We love Armand Daniels. We have always been rooting for him, but
and
this
I love that
story
he
did make me sad.
Brought a whole community center just for his mom, and is like the only founder and funding it just because that's what she wanted.
Armand hurt me. We actually met him in
Teach
Me. That was our first time ever meeting him. That was also our first Alexandria House story. So I rooted for him.
They narrated that as well.
Yes. I rooted for him really hard. So once we got to this story, I was really hurt. Like,
you learned some hard truths for sure.
And it's so true about don't judge a book by its cover. Like, go off what you see and not versus, you know what I mean? Because in another story, I thought like, he's just a wounded bird. But then on this story, I was like, man, this fool.
Perspectives are everything.
It's really true. Okay. So why don't we jump to, we can talk about Kendra. Kendra happens to be a friend of Kim. She met her through Leland McLean. How do you feel about Kendra, doll?
So, again, perspective. I didn't think I was gonna like Kendra. I thought she was a sweet girl, and I never thought she was like, I didn't think anything about her. I just didn't get her. Like, she was kind of dismissive to me in this story. Like, I just didn't get her relationship with Polo and why she allowed certain things. So, getting her story. Perspective.
About?
I know. I'm saying in this one, I didn't really. She was forgettable to me in this.
So in this story, I liked Kendra through Leland's eyes. I like that he was like,
she was a sweet girl.
She's a really good girl. He doesn't deserve her. You know, I want her and Kim to be friends. Maybe, you know, I really liked her through Kim's eyes. I felt like through Leland's eyes. Through Kim, I felt like it was kind of like a young girl that she's hanging out with versus a friend. They became friends, but you know, it was giving young girl.
But there was quite an age difference.
Yes. How do you feel about Leland Randall McLean?
You have to love Leland. I don't care if that story is your favorite. You have to love Leland. Like, if he messes with you, he messes with you completely. Rather you're a friend, family member, girlfriend, potential. Like, Leland is so solid and so endearing. And even though he is like the youngest McLean, he doesn't give off that. That's all man, baby.
Listen, baby, let me tell you one thing about Leland Randall. He likes older women. I happen to be an older woman.
I'm old enough.
I'm not old enough or thick enough, but I
not even a little bit.
But a bitch could eat. Okay, I could try. I liked him. I liked that he was a family man. I liked that he liked to volunteer. I liked that he was a man of his word. Because he could have easily been like, fuck you, and fuck that sinner. But he didn't want to do that because he gave his word. He was committed, and I really enjoyed it.
He had a really good heart. And he loved hard.
He did love hard. I hope he wants to love me.
He was also a go-getter.
Yes,
I like that.
Yes, he was, honey. At 6'7", is that what it said?
I believe so.
Like 6'4.5" or something. He said something
that
about
might have been Polo.
Polo was 6'7", and he said something about Google being wrong because he's like 6'4" and 5
and a half.
Don't forget his half, honey. What do y'all feel about Polo? Paul Logan.
Again, you have such mixed feelings about these characters, but it's all perspective. Like, from Leland's point of view, you kind of like him, but you can't kind of respect him because Leland is such a family man. He is such a, like, one woman kind of man that you kind of do get that little distaste of how he does Kendra and how it seems like he wants to be for the streets, but he won't let Kendra go.
So when I first met Paul at the camp, I assumed that he was a single man, the way he was looking at the mamas and everything else. So to find out that he wasn't, I was like, one of them. Okay. And how you feel about Big Sal?
Who don't love Big Sal?
He is a great brother, y'all. He is so supportive.
I could talk Big South all day. I could talk Big South. I love the way he showed up. So Big South's story is first in the series. So you see him as a big brother, but to see like him through Leland's eyes, like that's a big brother.
And he like idolizes him and respects him in such a manner that just melts my heart. How do you feel about Aunt Ever?
Aunt Ever is just a godsend. It's not easy to, little backstory, the McLean children lose their mother young, and so Aunt Ever takes in the younger kids, and it's not easy to do that, especially like when you have your own feelings, and I feel like Aunt Ever was just solid throughout the whole thing. Like, she loved them kids, and especially she has a soft spot for her Leland.
You know, and he basically like is like, you my mama, like, and I love how he makes sure he checks on her and he's taking care of her. Like, they all love Aunt Ever, but I love the connection that they had together, her and Leland. It was very special. You
get to see the difference of her involvement in his life since he was the youngest versus the older siblings, and it was just a nice thing to see.
So let's do a quick little chat about the book now. We've discussed the characters. We ain't gonna tell too much. We ain't gonna spoil too much.
Again, if y'all don't like the way we do the reviews, talk to us. Let us know. We can work on it. But to that book, tell me your thoughts, sister.
So, this story was really good for me, because it was a nice segue from book 1 to book 2. I like that we learned it was a new team. I like that we got to see that he was there because he wanted a ring. He was like, listen, it wasn't because somebody chased me away. It was about the ring for me. I like to see how when a man wants you, they have no problem showing you. When a man truly is there for you, you will know it. And Leland was the baby, but that was all man, baby. That was all man, honey. And I loved that. The story it was a lot, right? Like, it was a lot happening. You got some volunteering, you got to meet family, you got to sneak away, it was a lot happening all at once, but he was solid. And I like that in a man. It was very solid. Kim had a lot of trauma, and I was saddened by that because her job is she has a degree in early education. So I would think that she would have gotten the help that she needed. So it was kind of interesting to me how we can do it for others, but never for ourselves.
Yes, I agree. I think it was a solid story from beginning to end. It had light moments of laughter. It had sexiness because, you know, Miss House gonna bring the lights, baby.
Listen. I still wear waist beads. Thank you, Kimmy. I stand up for Lil' Kim.
It had drama. It had the suspense of it all, of not getting everything, and then the way Miss House like drizzled in, and you just kept getting the bigger picture.
It just kept
until
growing.
It hit you in the head, and you were like, "Whoa, that's not what I was expecting."
Yes.
The storytelling was top tier. The story overall was great. Like, there's nothing you can say. And like you said, Big South's story, I felt like was so beloved that she had to hit y'all hard with Leland's story and completely hit you left field.
With
and
something
she did
you had
that.
no idea.
You would never have imagined the story to unfold the way it did. And for some people, I'm sure it like endeared them more to Kim, or, you know, whatever. But Leland remained Leland throughout the whole series, throughout the whole book. And it was so great to see his character through Kim's eyes, because she, like you said, she definitely needed that man. She needed someone to make her live, like you know, like you said, at the end of the day, like she needed someone to show her how to love herself properly. And Leland did that. Like, this story was nothing but love.
It was love. And I really loved watching Kim go from a mother to a woman, if you will, because a lot of times when we have our kids young, you're like their brother and sister. Like, you grow up that way because you're still living in your parents' house. So however your mother, you know what I'm saying? So it's kind of that kind of situation. So watching her go from being a mother to being like her own woman was nice, because there was times where I was like, you his mama. But like, she kind of had to learn that, if you will. So I really enjoyed seeing Kim throughout her transformation.
Absolutely right. Being a young mom and the trials and tribulations that Armand and Kim both went through together, again, put them in roles that they never should have been in, and it kind of blurred the lines. So it was it was a little awkward at times when you're like, you don't understand why they are having those moments, but it was a great read.
So let us know if y'all liked it. I know y'all read it already. Let us know. Keep sipping.
Please don't forget to comment, subscribe, like, and hit the bell. Share.
Ring a ding ding.
Bye, guys.
Y'all, I'm mixing platforms. Bye.